Hey, Lincoln. This is Lincoln, and I am Evan, and you're watching Day by Day. Thanks for tuning in. This segment is brought to you by, just kidding. This segment is about energy and chakras. And I believe that they're real. I believe that energy dictates how much money you have, what kind of jobs you get, what kind of people are around you, what house you live in, where you live. It has to do with a lot of how you live your life and what you have in your life. Now, chakras are different for everybody because they're in your body, or not inside your body. I guess you can't X-ray a chakra, but they are, I guess you could call it like the energy that aligns your soul with God's energy or the universe's energy. And the second you have like a chakra that's blocked or out of sorts, then you're leaning further and further away from God's energy or the universe's energy, whoever you believe in. I don't believe in everyone else's God, but I definitely believe in a God, which is a common thought process and perspective on God or a higher power with my age. And that's why I think energy and chakras have come to the surface more in people's practice of meditation and yoga. And this is kind of what I'm getting at, is that like my first experiences with energy and chakra. So my first ever experience of like understanding my chakras was definitely when I started to do yoga a lot more religiously. So like I would do stretching and call it yoga, but I started taking classes in 2019 to 2020, and that was like the biggest monumental shift in my understanding of chakras, because once you look into it, and I'm not an expert, but I have a feel for it, and I definitely should just, research it more and get a little deeper. But once you kind of go into the chakras that are holding you back or feeling like they're not flowing correctly, it makes a lot of sense. You're like, oh, my root chakra it's like making my hips tight and my lower back hurt. Well, if your hips are tight and your lower back hurts, then it means that your root chakra is out of sorts, and you probably are also not finding a lot of foundation in the things you're doing, because that chakra is what roots you to the current moment, the present, and what your morals are and all that. So that was my first experience with chakras that like really formed my understanding of chakras. And after that, it was like meditation, and continuing the practice of yoga and meditation. And meditation, you don't have to be some guru sitting in lotus pose, which is like both feet above each other in crisscross applesauce. You don't have to be in a certain pose or anywhere to meditate. I could meditate right here. I could sit back and I could let my mind go. One of the biggest tools that somebody gave me when starting to meditate, you follow your breath, and that's the only thing you hold on to in your mind. Everything else, all the thoughts, let them drive by like you're sitting on a bench watching a busy freeway. Your first instinct is to, when it gets too busy and people are honking and people are going 120 miles an hour, your first instinct is to hold everything, freeze, stop everything. But your job as a soul, as a what is that? A viewer or somebody that's observer. Your job as an observer when you meditate is to observe yourself and what you do when those thoughts get crazy. So like if your first instinct is to stop everything like me, then you need to learn how to let them go and come back to your breath. Just let them go. Gently guide yourself back to your breath, and the only thought of how deep your breath is going, how big your lungs are getting, how small they're getting when you exhale, where the oxygen is going, what cells are getting filled, what muscles need those cells. That part of meditation grounds you. And once you're in that flow of calming your thought process, that's when you can start to observe yourself and to observe the way you think and observe the thoughts that you're thinking or what you want to do today, how you want to grow this year, like whatever you want to do when you meditate. It starts with that. And everyone's meditation is different. Mine is obviously self-help, grow, figure out how to do 2 + 2. I think the biggest thing that cemented yoga and meditation is being a guiding force for chakras. And we'll get to energy in a second, but the biggest forces were this book called The Book of Siddhartha. And this book, once I get an LLC running and a homepage for this, I want to start a bookstore so that you all can go back and look at the books that got me to this mind state. So Book of Siddhartha is the book of Buddha and his journey. And it just made so much sense. Like I didn't have to question, why, I didn't have to question why he left everything and was trying to please this princess or queen or that, I forget. It's been a minute since I've read this book. But I didn't have to question anything. Everything just kind of made sense in terms of his story and why he believes that the things he believes in. So I definitely recommend this book. Now that I think about it, I got to read it again. It's been a couple years. I actually gave it to somebody. And I hate it when you give someone. Okay, clock this. When you give someone something of yours that they're like, oh, I'm so thankful that you gave it to me. I'm going to use it every day. And then they never use it. And when you tell them that you should give it back, they're like, oh, I'm going to use it. I promise. That was like a year ago. So like, if you're just going to keep not using it, I just want it back. I digress. Don't give people your things if they're not going to use them. Or do. Fuck it. Let them not use it. Let them let it sit on the wall and watch them while they don't use it. I want them to feel the guilt. I want them to feel my presence in their room when I'm watching you walk by the one thing that you said you were going to do and you're not going to do it. Crazy. I could never do it. That's why I think it's crazy. It's because I could never do that. Some people can. The other thing that got me to the point where I am today is this college class called Art of Flow. It was in my sound engineering college where I went in Burbank. And this class was so unorthodox, but so real. It was probably the best educational experience I've ever had because they taught things like chakras, like energy, like the fact that everything is a sound wave or a light wave or just some type of energy that creates this couch, this microphone, my shirt. And I think once I connected everything in that class, I understood. I was like, oh, everything's connected. Like it's not about how to create something and put it together. Like, no, it's about understanding the idea first and then finding what works together so that it could be created. Um, yeah, no, the that class was probably them, and I have the notes. So if anyone wants the notes for this $10,000 class, hit me up because it is a life changer. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll put it in a notes for y'all, like a summarized version of it, so that y'all can really understand what I'm saying here. That's what I'm gonna do. Another another thing that really taught me a lot about what the brain perceives and what our limit is compared to what substance can heighten your brain. And I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm just talking about some magic mushrooms, okay? I definitely believe in psilocybin. It's a mold, it's natural. You can find it in the forest. So I think that the feelings and the thoughts and what I saw while taking psilocybin showed me that the energy and what makes up the world is seen one way by 8 billion people. But to flies, to camels, to dogs, to dolphins, to orcas, to jellyfish, it's seen differently. But there's one constant, is that there's a destination. There's A to Z. There's this spot to that spot. There's this end to that end. That's at least constant in every single species on this planet. And when you think of it that way, when you think of the world as a whole and energy and chakras put together, the energy is what carries you through your journey from point A to point B, and your chakras are what keeps you in line to the best possible outcome. So that's why I put both of them together, is that when your chakras are aligned, you are aligned with your journey and you are going to excel. When your chakras are out of line and separated, two different parts of the path, then you're getting pulled to different directions. Your path starts to morph and you start to morph into different versions of yourself that weren't destined on the initial path. And that's okay. That's the part of human existence. That's the part of why we're here. We have to find our own path. And that's the beauty of it. The next huge thing about energy, I think, in my life was like big life events. So if my energy was aligning with something on a better path, then everything on that path, like take my recent relationship, or let's take the job that I got let go from. 3 months before I got let go, and we won't cover why I got let go, but 3 months before I got let go, I was telling myself that I need a different job because this job's not serving me. It's not teaching me anything. I'm not happy. I need another job. And I reached out to somebody, like a different job, but I wasn't like eager. I wasn't trying to get it. I told all of my my coworkers, like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And then I just never did it. 3 months later, I got let go, and it was the most freeing moment because I knew that I needed to go. It was going to be a new beginning. Yeah, it sucked for a month because I couldn't find work. It was at the end of the year. But once I found work, I found somewhere that really fulfills me, at least to the extent that I need it to in the service industry. And I couldn't be happier at this moment. So your energy, if you align it, like I wasn't actively going and finding a different job, but if you are aligning with, I need change, or this place doesn't make me happy anymore, or this person doesn't make me happy anymore. I can't connect with this person the same anymore. I need someone that has more depth. I need a job that needs more depth. Whatever that is, if you align it with that, your life will start to move. God will move things in order for you to get closer to what you're aligning your energy with, your chakras. If you don't, and you stay bent out of shape, I think either way, God will put things in motion for you to change. And that's just going to be up to you. Like, you're going to have to recognize it and you're going to have to change. But that's the beauty of it, is that it's always up to you. And however you perceive the world, you have your own reality and you're in charge of everything that you do. So if you want to better yourself, if you want to become the first millionaire in your family, or let's just be simple, like the first person in your family to be happy. If you want to achieve those goals, you have to change. You have to adapt to the change in your life. And don't ever get it twisted. It doesn't start with saving more money, working more, meeting somebody that has more money than you, selling a product that will make you more money on the side. Like, no, it starts within you. If you get this right and your energy aligned, you will have such an easier time pushing for something that is bigger than you. Because then you're comfortable with looking at somebody like this and saying, I believe in you because I believe in myself. So you guys have all of the potential and all of the tools. For the next 15 episodes, I'll be covering more and more topics, and I'm going to be posting Wednesday through Sunday. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you don't miss an episode. Now you know the posting schedule, so you don't have an excuse. Like, comment what you think. And this has been Day by Day, 1% Better. Love you guys.